Okay, let's just jump right in. We all have this feeling, right? That our world is being shaped by these huge, invisible forces. Currents of power, of technology, of belief that are pulling us in directions we don't always understand. So the real question is, how do you navigate a world you can't really see? Well, you look for a map.
So in this explainer, we're going to explore 3 profoundly different maps that people use to make sense of it all. First, we've got a map from a scientist who's trying to chart the future of a technology he actually helped create. Then, a map from an investigator who's convinced that all the official charts are just a big lie. And finally, a map from a mystic who is charting the very architecture of consciousness itself.
So let's start with the most, concrete map. This one is drawn by one of the architects of our modern world, the AI pioneer Yoshua Bengio. Now, he spent decades building AI, but just recently, his map of the future started to look, well, very, very different.
And what's so striking here is the sheer urgency in his voice. I mean, for Bengio, one of the literal godfathers of AI, ChatGPT wasn't just another program. It was like decades of future progress got compressed into a single moment. He realized the technology was just flat out outpacing our ability to control it, and he felt he had no choice but to sound the alarm about the road ahead.
This right here is the perfect way to understand the core problem. Bengio explains that we're not programming AI with neat lines of code anymore. Instead, we're creating a black box, a kind of neural network that we can't fully see inside. We feed it data, we let it learn, we give it rewards, but just like raising a baby tiger, we can't truly predict what it's going to become when it grows up, or more importantly, if it'll listen to us when it's powerful enough not to. And the crucial thing to get here is that these risks, they aren't science fiction. Bengio's map points to AI helping just about anyone design horrific new weapons. It points to the threat of a single company or country gaining absolute power. And maybe the scariest of all, the possibility of a rogue AI that we just can't shut down. We're already seeing the beginnings of this with cyber attacks and huge job losses. This is the dangerous territory he's trying to warn us all about.
So his map basically shows these 2 massive forces pulling in completely opposite directions. On one side, you've got this frantic race between companies and countries to build the most powerful AI. That's the engine pushing us forward at a terrifying speed. But on the other side, there's a potential break. Us, public opinion. Bengio's big hope is that if enough of us understand the risks, we can create the pressure needed for governments to work together on safety before it's too late.
Okay, so that's the scientist's map. Now let's switch gears completely and look at our next map maker. This person operates from a totally different worldview. The investigator believes the official maps are designed to mislead us, and that the only way to find the truth is to look for the details that just don't fit.
This is the core idea, right? The map to the real forces running the world isn't going to be found in official reports or on the nightly news. No, it's pieced together by finding clues that are hidden in plain sight, by connecting the dots that contradict the story we're being sold by the people in charge.
And the main tool for this kind of mapmaking is, believe it or not, completely public. It's Google Trends. It lets anyone see what people are searching for, where they're searching, and when. For the investigator, this isn't just data for marketers. It's a map of our collective subconscious, a way to see the questions people are asking when they think no one is watching. Okay, so here's a perfect example of how the investigator draws their map. In one case, they noticed that really specific search terms, we're talking terms related to a political assassination, were spiking. But here's where it gets weird: the where and the when. The searches were coming mostly from Washington, D.C. and Israel, months before the event actually happened. Now, for the investigator, that's not a coincidence. That's a footprint. It's a bright, flashing pin on the map of a hidden agenda. At the end of the day, the investigator's map is really an act of defiance. It's a worldview built on one premise. You should trust your own ability to see patterns more than you trust the official story. The map gets drawn by connecting all the little anomalies, all the data points that the powerful are hoping we'll just ignore.
All right, from the world of data and secret plots, we're going to a completely different realm for our third and final map. This one doesn't chart world events or hidden agendas, but the secret architecture of consciousness and the cosmos itself.
And what's so fascinating is how the investigator and the mystic are kind of similar. They're both searching for hidden patterns to make sense of the world. One is digging through public search data, the other is looking to the stars and ancient symbols. But that fundamental drive, that need to find a deeper, invisible order, it's exactly the same.
So the centerpiece of the mystic's map is the Kabbalistic tree of life. And as the source describes it, this isn't just some old diagram. It's a map of creation itself. A radiant fountain of divine energy that flows down through 10 spheres or shimmering pools. And these pools represent everything from the first spark of creation all the way down to our physical world, and even the structure of our own soul.
This is how the mystic sees the world. It's not just a random collection of stuff. Underneath everything, there's a hidden geometric structure. This quote just beautifully captures it. This vision of reality as a field of infinite pyramids, each one capped with a star that's kind of looking right back at you, connecting the cosmic and the personal.
And this whole map, really, it all boils down to one ancient, powerful idea. As above, so below. All it means is that the universe isn't some separate thing out there. The structure of the macrocosm, the entire cosmos, is a mirror of the microcosm, our own inner world. The patterns in the stars are the very same patterns that shape our mind. So what's the final destination on this map? Where are you trying to go? Well, according to the influential and, pretty controversial mystic Aleister Crowley, the goal is to realize that each of us is a star, a unique center of the universe with our own distinct purpose, or what he called our true will. The whole point of the mystic's map is to discover that purpose and align your life with it so you can move in harmony with the cosmos.
So there we have it, 3 completely different maps for navigating the invisible world around us. The scientist's urgent warning, the investigator's web of suspicion, and the mystic's cosmic blueprint. So, how do they all stack up?
As you can see, each mapmaker is using a different tool to chart a totally different invisible force. The scientist uses rational analysis to get a handle on the risks of AI. The investigator uses anomaly detection to hunt for hidden agendas, and the mystic uses sacred geometry to align with cosmic energies. They seem totally incompatible, right? A scientist would probably dismiss the mystic's data, and a mystic might see the investigator as just being lost in shadows. But they all share that same fundamental human drive to find some kind of order in the chaos.
And look, at the end of the day, this isn't really about picking which map is right or wrong. It's about recognizing that in a world that feels more and more complex, more chaotic, this fundamental human need to find a pattern, to draw a map, to make sense of the invisible, it's more powerful and maybe more important than it's ever been. These 3 mapmakers, they offer us radically different ways to see our world. One is based on data and probability, one on suspicion and hidden clues, and one on symbolism and deep interconnection. They're all just attempts to chart a course through the unknown. And that leaves us with one final, and maybe the most important question. What map is in your hands?